Nathan's here. He's going to talk to us about what's happening in retail. Things are not staying the same. Imagine that. And as they don't stay the same, as change shows up, Nathan's going to show us how to navigate the change. Make sense? All right. Have at it, man.
Thank you.
Good to see you.
See you. You guys hear me? Audio's good? How was everyone? Good. Thanks for hanging out all day and waiting around. And I know we're very close to getting drinks, right? I heard that's a thing that's happening? Yes, good. Okay, so I'm Nathan. Can we get these slides up here? You're good? All right. I'm at NathanWright on Twitter. If you, I love new internet friends. If you want to follow me, that's great. Say hello. I work at Hy-Vee. As Mike said, I've been there for just over a year now. And what I want to talk about today is the ever-changing landscape of retail and what that looks like. It's been changing forever, but right now it's pretty dramatic, all the changes it's undergoing. So I'm just going to throw 10 trends at you, things that I find interesting, things that we look at a lot at Hy-Vee, and I'm going to share those with you today. Sound good? Yes? Excellent. So that's where I work. There's a logo. I already told that story. My role at Hy-Vee is digital marketing and innovation, so I oversee a variety of digital projects, including social media, mobile app, email marketing, et cetera, website, you name it, all things digital. So a really quick history lesson about retail and how it's changed. Back in turn of the century, it was all about that local corner store. That's what dominated everything. You had catalogs, things like that. But basically, you were limited to what you could carry home. You walked to the store, you came back. That was retail. That was the retail experience at that time. Excuse me. And then early 1900s, then you got into sort of the automobile years. That became mainstream. You can bring more things home. You have refrigerators. So my point here is that retail is always in flux, always changing. 50s, 70s, suburbs, we all moved out there. Big box stores came along. But really the thing that impacted it the most is digital. That continued disruption of that space. People buying at home, having it shipped to their house. That continues to disrupt everything. So what I want to talk about today is retail as we know it, brick and mortar, is it dying? I want to try to answer that question because this is really, the last year or so, the storm clouds are gathering, and this is kind of the picture that a lot of people think of what's happening in the retail space right now, that a lot of these places are doomed. You might have heard I think it was this morning or yesterday, Radio Shack went into bankruptcy, which is like, why is that happening now? That's like 3 years, 4 years that you think that would have happened. It's just not a relevant brand anymore. So what I want to answer is brick and mortar dying? It isn't. It's just changing right before our eyes. And I want to walk through these 10 trends here today. So continued digital disruption. That's the first one. That one's easy to figure out. That's a no-brainer. Online sales are growing at such a great rate, 4 times the rate of traditional retail. 30% of product interactions are happening now before the customer even reaches the store. So you're researching products on Amazon or online reviews. You're looking up things on a mobile app. That's before you actually reach the physical space and make the purchase. 20% of online global commerce, online e-commerce is going to Amazon right now. 20%, that's insane. That's just going to continue to go up. 30% of Amazon commerce is upsell too. So that's something we can't do at scale in physical spaces. Amazon can do that. This is such a huge part of their plan. And 3 out of 4 people, so in this room, 75% of you take your phones to the toilet, right? So if you just start to do this math, people are buying things online. They're probably pooping and buying things online at the same time. So I know you've heard the term omnichannel, right? So the toilet is like part of the omnichannel now. It's something we have to be thinking about. My point is that mobile and digital is just so blended into our lives now. Stuff is not going away. Tesco is a retailer in the UK. They've seen an 8% decrease in retail sales, but their online sales keep growing. So you're seeing these trends flip. Any guesses in the room? Just the total volume of payment Starbucks, the mobile app, saw in 2014. Anyone know that? Anyone want to guess it? Just throw a number at me. Here, this table? 1 billion? Any other guesses? 10 million? You win. So it's 1.5 billion. That's in 2014. That's payment volume through just their mobile app, which they've really perfected, and they've made it such a great experience. That's 15% of their total interactions also. That's just insane. It's another number that'll keep going up. So again, this disruption of retail is happening. Macy's just announced that they're closing 14 stores on the East Coast. However, what's really popular at Macy's right now are features such as in-store pickup. So you purchase online, you come to the store, and you pick it up. Or delivery straight to home. And so what Macy's is doing is they're looking at their brick and mortar spaces as actual distribution hubs. They're keeping inventory there, shipping it directly to the home without the customer ever even coming in. It's called ship from store. That's popular at Bloomingdale's too. So the Limited has this feature that their customers love right now. And you're reserving product online. You come into the store, try it on. So you're never actually committing to any purchase. You just reserve the inventory. You come in, try it on. There are a lot of, I saw a lot of innovations at this show I was just at in New York City of these interactive mirrors that you can come step in front of. And you can just take one article of clothing with you and try it on, and the mirror will adjust the color of it based on what's available. So that product they don't even have to carry. They just can have one article of clothing there and choose it based on the color you want, and then you can purchase it and have it shipped to your home. So just more fusion between digital, brick and mortar. It's happening so fast. Target does a great job with Pinterest. They really look at that site as the ultimate showroom. So they do a great job of calling out certain things on the shelves that are trending or popular on Pinterest. Some of their products, other things too. They also use it for merchandising. They see what's trending there, and they'll shuffle what's going on their shelves to react to that. Second trend I want to talk about is replenishment. Does anyone in the room love buying diapers? Is it like a favorite? No. Everyone hates it. It's the worst thing in the world. There's a lot of stuff we hate to buy. Diapers is one of them. So Diapers.com was acquired in 2010 by Amazon. Walmart and Amazon just went hard after this company. They came after them. It was this huge bidding war, and ultimately Amazon acquired them. But all Diapers.com did was they ship large quantities of diapers to your home as a subscription service. So you just basically commit to a monthly payment with them, and they send you a certain amount, right? And of course that's popular. Of course that's a no-brainer because everybody hates buying diapers. So if it can be shipped to your doorstep and you know the volume that you crank through every month with your kids, of course you're going to do that. So that's why Amazon and Walmart wanted to be in that space. Really big. Dollar Shave Club is another example of that. Just taking things that we don't really like buying. Again, razors, how do we make that fun? Click and collect is something that's happening in Europe that's really popular, especially with grocery retail. And here are some very happy people coming and collecting their things. But how this works is you pick out your groceries online. You know ahead of time what you want to buy. You're on the go. You can do it on your mobile app. You're at your kid's soccer game, or you're not driving, of course. You're at a red light buying your groceries. And you come here, and some of this is even disconnected from the retail space itself. Sometimes it's in the parking lot. The freestanding kiosks, you just drive up. You have a PIN code on your phone. It unlocks your locker. Temperature controlled, so you can have your dairy and perishables in there. You just take everything out, throw it in your car. Payment happens behind the scenes, and you're done. You never interact with another human being. So here are some different models. Again, those lockers that you just come up to, or these sort of curbside pickup lanes where you come up next to the store and they bring it out for you. Someone at the store picks it for you. They take your order, they package it up, and they bring it out for you. Super popular in Europe. So what does a grocery store look like in the future then? If that's happening and that gets to be really popular, maybe the grocery store of the future is less about inventory and it's more about an experience, and it's more of a sort of a warehouse feel in the back end of it, right? Just storing product. So this quote always stands out to me. Marty is at Microsoft, and he usually comes to Hy-Vee once a year, and I got a chance to hear him speak last year, and his quote stands out to me every time I hear about click and collect and replenishment. And it's about the future of grocery retail. And he said that visits to the grocery store won't go away, but they will get more fun because we've eliminated that pain in the butt 25-pound bag of dog food, right? The stuff that we just don't like to buy, why not just have it shipped to our home? And so the grocery store then maybe becomes more about romance and emotion and smell and learning and education, more of a tactile experience. Everyone is trying to figure out the last mile. This is the players in this space are pretty much anybody. You just name any established company, Walmart, Amazon, Google is trying to do this. They're all trying to figure it out. And here's the problem. I'm going to get way into the weeds with this definition, but the last mile is a transportation term, and you get your goods via freight rail networks, container ships, you get them to one distribution hub, right? You get them to one central place, and this is that last leg. So it's not physically a mile, it's just a phrase, but it's that last leg to the home, and that's where it gets really cost inefficient. That part of the supply chain is 28% of the entire cost to get goods somewhere, that last mile. So everyone's trying to figure this out. You remember when Amazon was experimenting with drones to get things to your house? Again, Google, Walmart, they're all trying to get into this space. And actually Uber, which is the car service, started a pilot in Washington, D.C., where they're delivering groceries to you. They did this for a couple of weeks. So you could just, so basically what they're doing is they're scaling their existing network of vehicles and drivers out there, and they're just getting your groceries and they're bringing them to you. So I know that was a pilot that happened for a while. So everyone is trying to crack this. It's cost inefficient. Everyone's trying to solve it. No one's really quite got it yet, but this is something everyone's looking at. Another trend is the reimagining of what health means and what healthy products actually are. So what's a healthy product to you? Like, what does it look like to you in your head? Salad? Anything else? It's this stuff, right? We think of packaged goods, produce, just healthy alternatives to food. This is how retailers today think of healthy products. It's just stuff on shelves we can sell. When you look at all age groups, health is always the number one or the number two spend priority across all ages. It doesn't matter if they're millennials or super old people or baby boomers. Just every age group says that health is one or two in their spend priorities. So it's a big deal at retail, of course. And we tend to think of it as food, diet, exercise. Those are the products. Those are health products, healthy living things. But they define health. Humans define health as physical, spiritual, mental, and emotional. So my question is, are retailers tapping into that, all those other things? Are they thinking about that in terms of health? And to frame that up, this is where we're at today. I don't know if anyone in the room suffers from FOMO or the fear of missing out, but to define what that is, you're sitting at home on Friday night and your friends are suddenly Instagramming that they're at a Jay-Z concert, and you're like, oh my God, I'm missing this, and you're panicking and you're having anxiety, or they're out to dinner and you just want to be there, but you're sitting on your couch, right? That's FOMO. So this is a new problem for humans. We've created this problem, and so have our devices and our always-on connection, to our friends, social networks. This is sort of a new problem. And GQ magazine had this great quote that we've never been more aware of what we're not doing. Right? Someone else is doing something more interesting than me right now, right? Everyone is probably doing more interesting things, and I'm missing out. So people are freaking out about this. This is like this weird new mental problem we have. And basically the complexity of our lives is so bad right now and so intense, that there's so many layers, it exceeds our capacity to process it. Our brains just can't deal with it. We just can't. There's too many notifications on our phones, there's too many apps. We've friended too many people on Facebook. This is a new layer of stress. We're answering work emails at 9 p.m. We're sending them at midnight. which we got to stop doing, by the way. Seriously. Like, sending emails and replying, too, is like even a worse crime because you're just like continuing it. We have to stop doing that. But people don't have this work-life balance anymore. There's children, there's relationships, so our lives are just way too complex, right? So I am going somewhere with this. This is my point. And it's that headspace has become this new health aspiration, this new want and need that we have. And so we've come to terms with the fact that we can't completely conquer stress. We just can't. It's impossible today. But we can deal with it in short wins. So those look like a short-term diversion. Maybe that's as simple as going to a movie alone, which I know sounds really loserish, but it's fun. You should try it sometime. You're just sitting there alone, focused with no device or phone, and just watching a movie. Or quiet time at home, or 30 minutes away from your children, even if you're just driving around town, right? Those are short little wins over stress. Those are victories in today's age. The inbox zero movement in email is another sort of manifestation of that, where you feel like you've conquered email, at least for that 2 minutes until the next one comes in. So, retailers, how are they dialed into this? Here are a couple of examples. Breather is a service in New York, San Francisco, and I believe in Montreal. And it's an app and web service, and it lets you find quiet spaces nearby, and it lets you unlock them and rent them. So you're an urban dweller, you're stressed out, you need 30 minutes of quiet time. You can find one nearby, rent it for, you can see the prices here, some of them are like $26 per hour, and you go there, you have a little PIN code on your phone, and you punch it in, and it unlocks, and it's your room for those 30 minutes. This is a real business. This is an actual business that's happening and getting funding from a lot of venture capitalists. So it's one of these interesting new trends that I'm looking at. Just a recharge, just a 30-minute recharge, right? Selfridges is a retailer in London, and they have this subterranean chamber that's a quiet room, and they let their customers rent this as well. So it's another manifestation of what I just talked about. They know their customers are stressed out. They need a short-term diversion or escape from life. And there's nothing in this room. You're looking at what it is. There's no sensory, there's no stimulus. You just go and you have quiet time all by yourself. You can rent that. So here's a retailer understanding that headspace is a need for people, and they're reacting to it. Black Friday is another thing that we're seeing change quite a bit into Gray Friday. And basically that means that you're going to see a lot less of this insanity. A lot of these lines are going to get shorter and shorter every year. People are just buying more things online. And also these tentpole events, the Cyber Monday and Black Friday, they're just not as massive as they used to be, where it was concentrated into one day. The holiday season is stretched. In fact, 29% of people say that they start their holiday shopping, their Christmas shopping, before Halloween. So Halloween used to be that day that Christmas never crossed in retail, remember? It just would never come before that, but now it's completely wiped out. So it's before Halloween. Now, most people, a lot of them report they don't start shopping till mid-December for their stuff. So this idea of one day for retail is really going away. Another trend is experience and education over inventory. So this is a new Audi dealership. It's called Audi City, and it has one car in it. It's a car showroom that only has one car, and it's all about this tactile experience of going and customizing your vehicle. So you can see all these touch screens. They have kiosks where you can pick out what you want and assemble your vehicle in a digital way, feel what the leather, see it, smell it, pick your interior. Not a lot of staff, so they've taken the things that people don't like about shopping for automobiles and they've removed it, like the stress and the salespeople. So there are people working here, but they aren't really in a sales role. They're in more of an education role. And again, just one car, no test driving. You just go learn about it, and you walk away. If you want to make a purchase, you walk away with an RFID stick that has all of your car specs on it. Then you can take that to any actual dealership in the world and make a purchase there, or you can make a purchase online. So interesting concept that's not devoted to inventory at all, but all about experience in engagement and education. I got my mandatory engagement word in there. Required to do that, or someone will beat me. So this is a cereal retail experience in Germany called My Müsli. And basically you just go make your own cereal. They have nuts and grains and all sorts of things. You just assemble it yourself. People go here, they bring friends. People do this on a Friday night, and it's just fun. There's 66 quadrillion combinations of cereal you could possibly make there. But again, more of a retail experience and less of a store. This is a bike-powered smoothie bar, and of course in Portland, Oregon, which is where this would be, right? So instead of just a smoothie bar, you go and you participate, right? So you mount this bike and you start pedaling, and it makes your smoothie for you. So it's just, and I'm sure you buy it at a premium, but that's part of the fun, the experience of this whole thing. Ephemeral retail is stuff that's here today, gone tomorrow. There's a lot of this going on right now. Like pop-up stores, they're just up overnight without any word or announcement. They're just there and then they're gone. Food trucks are kind of, I would put that in this category. This is a pop-up retail store in New York City. And any guesses as to what this might be? If you know the answer, don't shout it out. I want to hear some guesses. What brand is this? These are rooms inside the retail experience. You go in, experience different moods and colors and things like that. Any guesses as to what this is? You? Just name brands. Apple? It's not Apple. It seems something cool they would do, right? Yeah, a cool brand like Apple, of course they would do this, but it's not them. Any other guesses? What was that? What was that? Nope. A mattress retailer? Oh, that's a good guess, because it is super boring. So mattress is good. No, this is Glade. It's the fragrance, the candle air freshener company, Glade. And these are sensory experience rooms. So I'm going to read to you what their press release said, which is so bizarre. This is in the meatpacking district. When a visitor steps inside, a concierge stands ready to help guide the customer through their scent and emotion journey. And so they have all these goofy rooms that are all about moods and emotions. And Glade says that what they're trying to do here is sell emotions and not product. So that was just up and then gone after a couple of months. Story is really interesting. This is something I've been obsessed with looking at lately. Story is a retail experience, also in New York City. It's a retail concept that basically takes the point of view of a magazine. So it curates stuff for you, content, themes, and it changes like an art gallery. So at Story, they completely gut it every 4 to 6 weeks, and they start over. So it's always changing. It's never the same thing. The brand changes, the story changes, the products change. They still sell you stuff. So now people have become addicted to the experience, and it has like a cult following. What's Story going to be next? So recently, some themes have been well-being, health and wellness, things like that, a holiday theme, style and technology, handmade goods. So they just completely reboot every 4 to 6 weeks into something new, and you never know what it's going to be next. So the notion of retail spaces as a sort of fixed location or a consistent experience is really changing quite a bit. This sounds very dramatic, the decentralized industrial revolution. But I think 3D printing is going to impact retail in a big way. So I think most of you have heard of it, but for those that don't know, 3D printing is basically a machine. They're usually about this big, and it makes on-the-fly 3D objects. So you upload an AutoCAD file to the machine, and it'll actually make this through an additive layering process. So there's sort of like a liquid resin that hardens immediately, and it makes things, shapes like this that are very complex or simple, like this polygon here. Does anyone have a 3D printer? Oh, your like hand is here though. You're like not willing to wait. Like at home or at a company?
At work we do.
Oh, where do you work? Oh, yeah. So you use it? You're just playing around with it?
The marketers don't necessarily. Our product development will do like prototypes of things like
Yeah.
we can get basic imagery.
It's useful, right? Yeah. Marketers don't know what to do with it, right? So how is this going to impact retail? So obviously, her example is prototyping, things like that. That's awesome. But here's a company that's based an entire retail concept, an e-commerce concept on 3D printing, and it's around customized earbuds. So how this works is you take a picture of your ear, you upload it to normal ears here, and the black piece in the center there, that's what they 3D print for you, and it's customized to your ear canal. Just for you, because you know how earbuds are like always falling out, or they're too big or too small. They're never, it's not a one-size-fits-all thing. So here's a company that's taken 3D printing and they've made a business out of it. My question though is like, what happens when we all have 3D printers in our homes, when it's like just a mainstream consumer product? What are we buying then from this company? I think we're just buying the file, right? Or the ability to get that file and then start layering it at home on your own. So I'm trying to think how this applies to retail and grocery always. And I'm pretty sure in the next year we'll find a Hy-Vee that has a 3D printer so they can make these customized cake toppers. I bet they could sell these at a premium to brides and grooms, right? You come in for a body scan and you can just print out little bobblehead versions of yourself or little customized versions like that on the right. I bet stores could sell these at a premium. We were talking about it the other day, and someone said, I bet you could, like, parents would bring their kids in once a year and have them scanned, and then you could have all these little mini figures of your kids. Kids would love that. You'd probably sell that at a huge premium. So stores are going to have these at some point. I'm just waiting for the first one. So Tesla allows customers to 3D print their own center console. So again, just like earbuds, here's another thing that isn't always perfect for every person, right? The center console should be designed around your drinks and the sizes of what you put in there and your accessories and your phone and what you like to have around you. It's not a one-size-fits-all thing. So they've taken the concept of, well, let's just leave that as a blank slate and let's let customers just print that on their own. It's just another value add. It's another thing you can get or buy from Tesla. Build it online and then 3D print it and just snap it right into the car. So those are things we can mod our cars, we can hack our cars, our earbuds, but we're entering a time where we're going to be able to start to mod the human body. And that's called transhumanism. So already today, people are 3D printing ears. People that have had like some sort of deformity or like a terrible accident, they lost an ear. You can just make a new one. You can just use this material and just have a new ear made for you. And in a lot of cases, these ears are better than what we have today. So transhumanism is exceeding evolution. It's basically hacking our own bodies to surpass what evolution has sort of preordained for us. And adding things to our bodies. So if we can just make better ears, at what point does everyone in this room say, I'm just going to get rid of these and have the new ones because I can hear more stuff, right? Or better eyes. Food system sustainability is, you're hearing a lot about this. And by the year 2050, the prediction is that beef is going to become a luxury good, similar to caviar, because prices will skyrocket. The system isn't sustainable enough. We just can't make enough of it, and there's just too many humans, and a lot of them are hungry. So there's going to be this massive protein gap that's coming really fast. The rest of the world has this figured out, though, because they eat bugs. Bugs are great protein, especially crickets. And so in North America, we just can't get on board with this. We've never been able to. But everyone else in the world outside of America eats bugs, essentially, and they don't have a problem with it. It's most of the world. So to me, this protein gap is actually a really interesting marketing challenge because You know, with sushi like 30 years ago in America, 40 years ago was pretty much universally like, oh God, like no American would eat it, right? And then somehow it became this hip thing, and everyone loves it now, and there's sushi places everywhere. So I'm looking for this to happen to insects, and this is going to apply to retail because there are now products right now just in the West Coast, and it's most of it's cricket flour. So that's just like mashed up crickets, right? You just mash them up, and you can bake with them. This is a photo I took at the NRF conference. They were handing out samples, and they had little granola pieces made of cricket flour, and I tried it, and it tastes fine. It's fine. If it's mashed up, you just don't know any better, right? So I'm always asking our dietitians at work, like, when are we going to carry this? There's going to be a store, right? The health market at Hy-Vee is going to someday have this cricket flour. You have to do it. Super popular with CrossFit crowd on the West Coast because this is just pure protein and there's no fat in it whatsoever. So they love it. So you talk about the food system and its inefficiencies, and there's just not enough, right? There's just not enough animals. We just can't produce it fast enough for growing demand. But you look at bugs. There's just millions, billions, zillions of them. Of course this makes sense. So we just have to get over this in America, and I think in the next couple of decades we're going to finally. So this will be a new trend that you see, a new food product that's going to be really popular. This stuff can go into pharmaceutical compounds. I'm sounding like a pusher now. Animal feed, there's just so many applications. Remember Woody Harrelson got all excited about hemp and all the uses? Like that's what's going to happen here with cricket flour. It's so useful. And in Thailand, they have 20,000 cricket farms. So a cricket farm is exactly what it sounds like. It is a business that is just solely devoted to growing crickets and then killing them, slaughtering them, basically. And I actually asked like how that process works. Like, do you just have a giant boot that smashes them, or what happens? And they actually just freeze them to death. They just kind of put them in a little chamber, and they turn the temperature down very slowly, and they just kind of slowly die. It's a very humane way. So and then finally, I'm going to let you go here after this. You know, in the past we talked about programming software, computers. We're very close today to be able to program cells, human cells, living things, and grow stuff from essentially nothing. That's called synthetic biology. So this is just starting. This is happening today. We can grow new tracheas. We can grow a new bladder from cells. And the reason you haven't heard about stem cells recently in a political aspect is that you can actually just create stem cells now from your own skin cells. There's a new scientific process that lets you do that. So it just completely removes the whole morality component from that. So that's happening. That's happening today. So we can grow things. We can just take a base compound. What you see here on the left is a photoshopped image, but it's basically a giant concept for a giant biofarm, and that's just green slime. It's just programmable slime that is this base compound that you can change a couple of things to it, and it'll become something. It'll grow into an orange or a new body part, whatever you want that to be. Again, people are growing new tracheas today, and they're having them installed inside them, and they're safe because they're not plastic. The body won't reject it. It's based on your DNA. So this is really interesting. So this raises all sorts of questions, especially in the retail world. If we have these giant farms of slime and we're growing stuff in them, whether that's some sort of protein product or vegetables or something, like that changes distribution. It changes everything. How do you look at perishables in your department in a grocery store anymore? Where are you sourcing it from? Is it from one of these? And then what happens when we can start printing this stuff at home? Do you have to go buy anything anymore? You just grow everything you want from this base compound. There are pigs now that are just devoted to growing human organs. You can have like a backup animal. If your organs go bad, you can just have this pig that you reserve. It's a thing that exists, and my bladder or whatever's bad, so just yank it out of that pig. They have humanized organs in them. You'll each have one someday. So I want to thank you. Do we have time for just really quick Q&A? Is that okay? Okay, and then we'll kick ourselves out of here. But I want to thank you for letting me come in and share some of this stuff that's interesting to us at Hy-Vee, things we're looking at, and that I'm personally fascinated with as well. My only bit of self-promotion is I'm sending out a weekly newsletter, and I try to put stuff like this in it that are kind of weird things, weird new trends. So if that's of interest to you, sign up. And again, thank you for your time. And any questions about any of this or anything else you heard today, anything in general? Yes. Hi. Are you asking, are there cricket farms today in the United States? I don't believe so. Thank you for asking that, though. It could be your new thing. You could start that tomorrow. Entrepreneur, right? Anything else? Any other questions? So where does Hy-Vee go with any of this? As I mentioned, we're looking at all of it. Some things more interesting than others, specifically that fusion of digital and e-commerce. So you're going to hear a lot this coming year of some new things that Hy-Vee's doing that if they ask me or if I talk about it now, they'll beat me back at the corporate office with a 2x4. So I can't go into too much detail, but you're going to see a lot of innovation coming this year from Hy-Vee. Yeah? Not today. Stay tuned. Some stores have like a hybrid of that, but it's never really been executed well. Anything else? All right, thanks for your time today. Appreciate it.